UncommonX is a full-service cybersecurity firm. We were based in Chicago, where we have a security operations center here, and we also have a security operations center in Boulder, Colorado. So between those two operations centers, we are the outsourced cybersecurity department for our customers. We are an extension of their team. When they partner with UncommonX, it's as if they just hired 20, 25 security experts that are available to them 24/7, 365. I typically start these presentations by highlighting the problem. There's evolving market challenges around cybersecurity, managing your attack surface. Talk a bit through UncommonX, how we're unique, how our technology comes into play and makes us unique and a strong differentiator. And then I also have some case studies in this presentation. Can talk through packaging, pricing, onboarding. I typically send this to customers after the fact. I really only touch on maybe the first 5 slides of this deck. I try not to get too far into like pricing, et cetera, until further conversations. But this really has all kind of started, I'd say, certainly since we've been involved with IT, but there's really been an explosion of devices and connections and applications and users and systems all connecting to business environments. The attack surface of organizations is expanding more and more every single day, and threat actors are only becoming more and more successful, and those attacks are more costly, and the number of them is growing exponentially year over year. IT and security teams are really struggling to provide a secure environment for their organization. Historically, we've seen the market respond to cybersecurity challenges by developing what we call point solutions. NSI is very familiar with point solutions. You guys sell a lot of them. So if you think about a problem that emerged in the market, how do I protect the edge of my organization? The market responds by developing or coming up with a firewall. That firewall is designed to protect the edge of their organization. This over time has kind of siloed organizations, both from a visibility perspective, but also from a responsibility perspective. Because organizations, sometimes they have people, hey, I just focus on the endpoints, or I just focus on the cloud, or I just focus on the firewalls, or the infrastructure, or the network. These individuals don't really have a good way to kind of see what everyone else is doing and to kind of collaborate across these different solutions. Yesterday's security challenges were a little more straightforward. There was nothing connecting to the network for the most part that wasn't managed by IT. Now it's almost the complete opposite. Almost everything that connects to a network is probably not managed by IT, whether it be IoT devices, iWatches, smart cameras, things like that. It's just becoming much more difficult for IT and security teams, again, to manage their their company's cyber risk. These are some of the challenges that we hear and that we help customers address. We are not in the market to rip and replace the tools that you guys have already sold them and what they're designed to do. Firewalls are really good at what they're designed to do. EDR or endpoint solutions like Cisco Secure Endpoint, they're really good at what they're designed to do. But all these different technologies are pumping massive amounts of information to the security and IT teams that are tasked to work with those tools. And every single year, there's more data transferring throughout an environment because there's more connections. And there's, again, this explosion just continues to compound. And these people, the IT staffs are not increasing by 2-3 people every single year to keep up with this volume of data. So how do you focus your attention on what you need to focus on at any given point in time? Resources. There's only 24 hours in a day. And there's only a limited skill set that each of the employees in the IT department of any organization are going to have. Again, they're specialists. They may have, background in infrastructure or background in managing endpoints. But how do you prioritize and focus your attention on what needs attention the soonest to have the biggest impact on your overall cyber risk posture and to improve it as best as possible? UncommonX is unique because of our technology. The UncommonX platform is fronted by a single virtual appliance that we deploy in a customer's environment. And that appliance is what provides us what we call 360 omniscient discovery. That appliance lives within the customer's environment, either on-prem in like VMware or Hyper-V. It can also live in a public cloud, so like Azure or AWS, as long as it has connectivity to the customer's environment. That appliance is outfitted with over 120 different, what we call APIs or plugins that hook into the tools that a customer's already invested in. So we are agentless. That's a big differentiator from other MDR, XDR, SOC, SIM providers. We do not deploy a piece of software to every workstation, every server, every device that's in an environment. Instead, we integrate with what you already have and bring it all into a single pane of glass that our security operations center then can work on your behalf. The platform also has a layer of AI in it that helps prioritize the different alerts that are coming from your different tool set. If you log into your firewall is going to say, this is the most important thing you need to focus on right now. If you log into your Cisco Secure Endpoint console, it's going to say, this is the most important thing you need to focus on right now. But how are you stratifying across those different technologies to focus on the one thing that is truly the most important thing that's going to improve your overall cyber risk posture as an organization? So the platform, because it hooks into all these different tools, and again, it's omniscient, and it's agnostic. So it doesn't matter if a customer has some Microsoft, some Cisco, some Palo. Obviously, we have the deepest expertise with Cisco, but not the entire stack of every organization is unanimously Cisco. And so because we can integrate and pull those different solutions in as well, that allows us to then get that perfect visibility, uncover all the shadow IT that exists in the environment, see everything, and then help them act. I typically pause here. Do you have any, Steve, do you have any like questions or?
How do you guys achieve your godlike omniscience? How does that see everything without having the endpoint software?
Sure, great question. The underlying foundational technology of our platform is an asset discovery engine. So when we install our platform, the first thing that we do is we enable NetFlow and syslog from your core, your WAN, your critical infrastructure. So think about your firewalls. We go into their Meraki's or we go into their Cisco ASAs and we direct NetFlow traffic to the Revolver appliance. NetFlow is a collection of all the network traffic. Anything that's touching the network is going to show up in NetFlow. And so by us starting with NetFlow, that really lays the foundation upon which we then turn on these plugins, which gives us the context of whatever, what a user is, where this user is traveling, if they're tied into Microsoft Active Directory, and things of that nature.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, it is that we actually can interpret all the raw data going across any network. And of course, we can optimize the integrations with all the other tools on the network, right? So if we don't have those, we can still do it, but it really has a robust set of data. It also helps us to, manage the any security incidents. But I think part of this too, Steve, is that we're finding more and more of our clients are using us to look at kind of how they manage and measure their entire environment from an IT perspective. Because there is risk scoring on everything, but there's also ability to segment and categorize things based upon, who's responsible, things called support groups. There's also ways to look at things if you have compliance requirements, in certain areas or arenas or data centers or need those conditions met. We can actually help track that. And I think the other thing is business context, right? So clients often have naming conventions or prioritizations or maybe regulatory things that we want to include that would natively be found in this data. We can allow them to do that as well. So it's pretty comprehensive.